Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher.
And welcome back. I'm Mike with the Turntable Teachers. Class is officially back in session. We are here for another guest speaker episode. We're taking another trip outside of the Boston music scene, and we're going towards LA once again. I know some of you guys, we had Nina Bomber on a couple of weeks ago, and so another LA artist. But today, we have Sergio JR with us.
What's good?
What's going on, Sergio? How are you, bro?
Chilling. Thanks for having me once again. Yeah, bro. Fun.
Awesome. Yeah, so glad to have you. We were laughing off air. I don't know if anybody's noticing this right now. If you're watching the YouTube version, you're probably not noticing it. So you're probably like, I don't really care, Mike. Just get on with the interview. So I never do this. I'm wearing a Boston Red Sox shirt, probably just like for the death of them this year. And this man's in a Chicago Cubs shirt.
No way. We know nothing about baseball.
Nothing. I get on this. And people that know me, you know, I'm a hoops guy. I'm a football guy. Hate baseball. Just try to switch it up. So different shirt.
It's just for the looks. You got to do it every now and then, bro.
Hell yeah. I love it. Well, you tell me a pretty cool story about that jersey, actually. So you're obviously you're not a Cubs fan, which I was like, oh, he must be a Cubs fan.
Yeah. So this jersey was gifted to me from a fan when I was back on tour with the band that I was in real life, and we went to Chicago. And there was a meet and greet, and this fan just like blessed us with. Each of us had one of these, and they're customized with our last name and the date, like the birth year, like the two numbers. So it says Calderon. Kind of crazy. I still rock it to this day, just because like it's hella sick. It's dope.
Yeah, that's well, clearly that's got to be something like super sentimental, like for you, just to be on. You know, that means like a lot. I feel like coming from.
Yeah.
So you get the same. Yeah.
Yeah, the fans are amazing. They've been supporting me since the beginning, so I'm really lucky that they're all continuing onto this next journey.
Well, I think that's a good place to start, honestly, because for you've had a very interesting and very unique, I would say, situation. Mostly for your career, being as young as you are, too. You know, you've definitely been through quite a bit in the music industry.
Yeah.
So, for context, Sergio was on the show Boy Band, and he ended up being one of the finalists that won, and he formed a group called In Real Life, where you guys did a lot of national headlining tours and things like that. So, talk to me a little bit about that whole that whole experience, winning the show, being part of the group. Like, how has it really, what has it meant for you? What did you learn through that entire process?
I haven't really had too many moments to sit back and think of how much we did and I did in such a short amount of time. Like, I was freaking 16 years old. I was chilling in history class. And then I got an email from a talent scout like, yo, you'd be a great fit for this new show we're doing on ABC. Low-key, it was kind of sketch, not going to lie. So I was like, I don't know. But at the same time, I was like, would be dope. Sent an audition tape, and then they were like, want to have you come out to audition in LA for the producers. I was like, word, let's do it. So I went out to LA to do that, and basically, and then they liked me or whatever, and they were like, you're going to go on the live audition on TV. I was like, sick. So like a week or two before my junior year had ended, I had left to LA and just basically literally never came back home after that, because I was on the show over the whole summer. And then after that, obviously, thank God I won. I was part of the band, and we were signed, instantly with Hollywood Records, and we put out a single, and we just got to work right away just because, from the show, we had already built a fan base. So normally bands don't have a fan base when they first start, but we did. So, it was so sick just to be a part of all that, because we went from being on TV. Literally 2 days later, we had our first show, and it was just like 1,000 people there or something, and it was just this craziest thing. Instantly got into the studio, started recording music and putting singles out. And then our first official single after being together as a band, we were able to that hit in the top 40 on pop radio. So we were going all over the country, playing all the radio shows and touring on top. So on top of doing that, the summer festivals, we were rehearsing and doing promo for the song, and then getting ready to do our first tour. We were opening up for the American Idol contestants because they were going to go on tour. So we opened up for them. That was crazy. And then after that, got ready to do our first headline tour here in the US. And then after that, we went over to the Philippines, did another tour over there. After that, we got back into the studio and recorded some more songs, and then did a bunch of like Christmas stuff. And then same thing, the next year, just released more music and did another tour. And it was just like, dude, the craziest experience I've ever had. And I'm very lucky to have been a part of it, just because like I know how many people want, to be able to have done those things. Like I say this to my friends all the time. I'm like, I mean, God forbid, but like if I freaking die tomorrow, I'll be fine. Like I genuinely feel like I've lived my dream. It was super cool, man. And the fans are just like, I feel like the connection that we have with them has been something that I don't really see with many artists. It's just like I literally know a lot of these people on a personal level, which is so sick. Like if I see them out, like I can literally be like, "Yo, what's up?" Like I know them, and it's cool because it's created that like connection from like that. Now it's not like artist and fan. It's like we're people, and that's all that matters. At the end of the day, we're supporting each other. So yeah, and at the top of the year in 2020, we had decided that it would be best for us to just go our own ways. And so we all continued as solo artists. Instantly, I got in the studio. I began to write just a bunch of music. I got together with a couple producers there I'd met over the course of being in real life. And we just made a good chunk of music. And then I was like, all right, I guess we got to just start promoting it. Got together with the management team, set up a sick plan for this year. And I was supposed to start doing radio shows and meet and greets and, going to the award shows and just start putting my name out there. And then literally the day before I was supposed to come to LA, early March, before to start rehearsing for all the rest of the year, quarantine. So I was like, oh, geez, all right, like that sucks. Like not, I had, like I said, planned to start opening up for people on tour. And hopefully at this time this year, I was supposed to start to like hopefully do something on my own. And it was just like, sucks because we had all these plans and, everything or like the rest of the world too, like things just completely changed. So it's just like, took a step back. But the way I see it is like, I definitely needed it because if it weren't for that, I wouldn't have taken a break. And I was talking to my friends recently. It's just like, I think that this year, especially the past couple of months, I've really learned how to enjoy myself and just be young because I never really got the chance to do that. I started working really at 16. And even before that, 14, 15, because I was grinding my butt off to get my name out there. I was doing covers and hustling, doing gigs and singing on the streets and whatnot. So yeah, man, now we're here. I have like freaking 25 new songs under Sergio JR ready to just start releasing.
Dope, man. You said a lot of great things in that. And one of the things that I thought it's funny to me from my perspective. Like I'm a teacher. You're old enough at the time when you left high school to, pursue this dream. You're as old as my students. So that would be like the equivalent of one of my students being like, hey, yeah, like I'm an aspiring singer. I'm going out to LA to chase my dream. I'd be like, all right, sick. Have fun. Like, good luck. I'll be following you. Yeah. But one of the things you had mentioned that I wanted to circle back on, you actually had a couple of things I wanted to circle back on, but the first was really like your interaction with the fans as an artist and that unique perspective. And I want to maybe you can elaborate on this as well. And this is just my theory here is I think maybe you being on the show, maybe like it gave people that opportunity to maybe, I didn't see the show, so I'm not 100% sure on this. If I'm wrong, please tell me, but maybe that you being on the show, it was possible that they were able to kind of get to know you more on a personal level. And they were able to kind of have almost a connection with you through the show, right? And almost get emotionally invested in you and the rest of the guys in the band that, they were like, because I oftentimes, like when I used to watch American Idol, like way back when it was like huge, when it first started, I remember getting like really invested in some of the artists that I wanted to do well. So is it possible it could be like some of that as well, or?
I do think so, because I mean, from jump, bro, like literally the first episode, you give your backstory. I mean, in a quick version, but like, you know, give the whole background of who I am, what I do. And yeah, I agree with you. Like I used to watch The Voice all the time, and I remember just being invested in these people. The moment I would hear or see something about who they actually are, I'd be like, oh, sick, following this guy, massive fan already. So I do think that the show helped out a lot in that, which
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I even just did that with Rhythm and Flow, the hip hop show that was on Netflix. Especially with D Smoke, who has some similarities with you, which I got on a topic in just a little bit, but which I find very interesting. I definitely want to dive into some of the parallels that you have with D Smoke and Rosalia and some other artists. But you know, another thing that that you mentioned as well is that it seemed like this all kind of happened really fast. Like even when the show was over, like you guys are performing 2 days later. Like were you able to even build any like on stage chemistry with these guys? Were you able to at least get to know them through the show, or like how was that process?
I'm gonna be hella real. I did not know them. Like I did not know. We didn't know each other, to be honest. Especially me, because during the show, even though the whole point was to make a band, I was very to myself, because at the end of the day, like this was like either gonna happen or not for me. Like we were all solo artists. We weren't actually a band on the show.
Right.
So I was like, I'm gonna do everything I can to make it to the band.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't mean that I wasn't cool with everyone. I definitely was, but I feel like as far as everybody else, I was definitely the most reserved. And so, yeah, it was definitely interesting just like going from just hanging out with them to just actually living with them and 24/7, like all 5 of us and our day-to-day managers, so 6 of us, literally 24/7. So I think we kind of built that connection just through being together in the studio and rehearsing. Like I remember we won the show and like our outfits were ready for the next week of just press, and it was crazy. And obviously like one of the best feelings ever, because you're like, wow, it's actually happened.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But it's almost like you weren't able to sit and enjoy it, because they were like, all right, here's your next like line of stuff. You got this promotional, this marketing, and you got this show coming up. Here are all your outfits. Like that's insane, dude. I didn't even, you know, I always wondered sort of background, like what some of those shows, like how it kind of like, how it operates. Like, I mean, I can imagine it's tiring process.
Yeah, it definitely is, especially because we're all really young. But it was cool because it was during the summer, so I didn't have that stress of I gotta get schoolwork done. All these shows sometimes are during the fall or winter, so they have school, and if you're a minor. So yeah, and my mom was with me because I was under 18, so she was with me the whole time. She was helping me out a lot, and it was super fun, bro. Like you were just with your boys in the hotel during the summer, and we were on TV. Like that was the sickest thing, bro. Like I'm gonna be hella honest. Like I was just like, wow, like we're actually doing it. But yeah, no, in terms of the show, obviously there's like you know, people say things about TV shows and being rigged or whatever, but I'm gonna be honest, like we were very lucky to be on a TV show that was, we had a personal connection with the producers and the executive producers and like the audio team and the band, and like, cause they genuinely cared about us and we did for them as well. They wanted not just the final 5, but all the guys that were on the show to do well in life. And we were very lucky to work with some of the best choreographers and musical directors and everybody. But yeah, no, we always hung out with them. I remember the executive producer, Joel, would always show up to rehearsals with a bunch of Krispy Kreme and just like treat us all the time. Yeah, man, we were super lucky to be a part of just like a really good show, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, it sounds, I mean, it's like you said, it's really a dream come true for you. You know what I mean? I forgot to ask this, where did you grow up originally? Like, where were you?
I'm from the Bay Area, specifically in Redwood City. So,
wow. Okay. So I haven't explored a lot of California, but I personally really loved the Bay Area just in terms of,
where'd you go specifically? Do you remember?
So I stayed in San Jose. My brother was down there for work.
That's hella close to Redwood City. Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. Yeah. So I spent a lot of my time when I was there. I was up in, I spent a little time in Oakland, a lot of time in San Francisco. And then I was also went to Carmel Beach, right near Monterey.
Probably. I don't really go to beaches down there.
It's like Central California, but beautiful. I mean, it was, you know, it was for me, if not everywhere I've traveled in the United States to this point, the only other place I would say that I would totally live would be that part of
Dude,
California for sure.
it's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Massive fan. I love it. It's so sick. I'm glad you liked it.
I loved it. No, I had plans to go back. Like you said, quarantine just kind of, you know, ruined, like, it really threw a wrench in a lot of people's plans, unfortunately. But I think for you, like you said, and I think that this was a good sentiment, good self-awareness, is that, like, you know, like I said, I mean, it's been a fast couple of years for you, you know what I mean? And that can burn you out. So I think for you, it was maybe, like you said, a blessing in disguise to have this break, to step back and say, okay, like, and now it's even better because you know, you've been through all this, you kind of have these experiences now to go back on, but now you're like, okay, now I'm kind of getting into my solo, you know, my solo career, you know, with all these experiences. It's probably good for you, like I said, to take a step back and just and reflect a little bit and
Yeah.
really figure out your direction now, you know?
That's exactly what I've been doing, is reflecting. That's a great word to summarize this whole year so far, at least. It's been a lot of reflection. Literally so much. I I talk about it all the time. Like, I feel like right now what I'm really trying to do is learn how to balance my life with how much of the work side do I want to have, how much of the social life, how much like to me alone, and then spiritually, and all these things. So I feel like right now I'm just like, I feel like I've taken a massive dive into each one, and right now I took a step back to kind of like reevaluate it all, and I feel like, okay, now I can really. I'm not saying that by now I'm set, I'm chilling for life, this is what it's going
Oh,
to be, but at least for now, at least, you know, I've found a good balance of how much of each thing do I want to have,
sure.
what I do need to prioritize or work on more. And that obviously is helping me so much in my music career, especially whenever everything goes back to normal, hopefully soon. I feel like I'll be a lot more like mentally stable and ready for everything, you know, because
Well,
it is crazy. It's a crazy career. You know, we've
yeah,
seen it all. Like, we weren't a massive band, but we were in the game for enough to see literally how the music industry works, how people are, and what we need to do, what I need to do to be, at least hope to be successful, and you know, just continue working on that.
right. Yeah, it was it feels like a grounding moment for you in the last year, right? To have that process and to, you know, go through the, you know, just the, you know, just like I said, to taking the step back and seeing all of, you know, all you've accomplished to this point, which is amazing, but also, yeah, like what is my next step, you know? And I think that, you know, I think for you, you could have easily gone a different way, and you could have, you know, it could have gone to your head, or it could have, like I said, really burnt you out. But now, it almost, just in talking to you now, it seems like you're even potentially more motivated now than ever. It sounds, at least for your energy I'm feeling. So
Yeah, and especially just because, like, with the type of stuff that I'm doing now, like, I'm starting. Obviously, I mean, I'm Hispanic. I've dreamed ever since I was a kid of being a Latin artist. So finally getting able to show that side of me, because even in the band, I couldn't show too much of it, just because it was
right.
like, it's a little hard to figure out how much of it did I want to incorporate in the band, because we were an American boy band. So now just me being able to literally do everything in Spanish and just incorporate a little bit of English has made me super happy, because at the end of the day, that's also who I am. And I feel like, you know, music is just a representation of who the artist is. So I'm very lucky to now be writing my stuff, all of it with amazing people that are helping me out.
Yeah, so I think that's an amazing segue to my next piece, which is, as I was listening to your new single, Gravel, that you just released, not it was this year, correct? It was about a couple months ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So in listening to some of you, like, obviously, you know, you sing in Spanish, you have an Hispanic background, and but I found it unique as well, with the song Gravel specifically, where, you know, you started off in Spanish, you did the hook in English, and a lot of other artists that I listened to, like I said a little earlier, D Smoke and Rosalia, just a few, that switch back. Now D Smoke's a little bit different because he is, you know, he's actually, you know, American born, but you know, learned Spanish and taught it. So his side of it's a little bit different than yours. But I was just kind of wondering, you know, what do you think the element of multiple languages in your music, like, how does it help you creatively, and what does it potentially add to, like, your end product and things like that?
I think the best part of being able to have bilingual music is that it reaches out to just so many people, especially right now that the past couple, I want to say 5 years maybe, that Latin music has just skyrocketed up like into just worldwide music.
Oh,
You know, and it's also cool because at least a lot of people, like Hispanic people here in the U.S., there's a lot of Spanglish when we speak, and I feel like, and haven't really heard of a lot of at least big artists that are really Spanglish, and I think that's something that I'm trying to do because I feel like that would make people feel just even more comfortable with who they are and whatnot. Because even for me, like it's sometimes like I still stumble on my words because I'll be speaking both languages all the time because I have my parents and then I got my friends and like family and whatnot. And now my career, so I'm gonna be speaking a lot more Spanish. So yeah, I think it'll just create this sense of like community with all the people that support me as well. And we'll also hopefully be a good, you know, representation for the Latin and Hispanic community.
absolutely. Well, you're absolutely right about that, where a lot of the, you know, the Latin music is really kind of taken off. I mean, look at guys like J Balvin, just to name a few. Like it's getting popular. You know, again, it really is kind of coming around as a very popular genre. You know what I mean? So for you to kind of to get into that, but I think that also you have a lot of crossover in a sense, because so that's, I think, unique for you too. What really like what do you decide on, like, you know, when you're writing a verse or you're writing a song or whatever, like how do you decide like what goes in Spanish, what goes in English? Like how does that process work?
Dude, this is gonna sound so whack, but like normally just whatever I feel is right.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Just like whatever the vibe is. I know people hate hearing that, but like literally that's what it is. It's like whatever my gut feels at the end of the day.
Okay.
But mainly I've been focusing a lot more on strictly just Spanish, just because I do want to lean a lot more towards that. But yeah, and also what I do too is whenever I do, let's say I'm halfway through the song and we're at the second verse, and I'm asking myself if I should add any English in it. What I would do normally is I'll listen from the very top, or play wherever we're at, either writing or producing it. And then when it gets to the specific point, start mumbling something in English or write something quick and do it. And if it flows, if the flow of the song feels good to me, then I'll go with that. Or if it doesn't, I won't. It's all just like kind of gut feeling. And yeah, because I feel like if it's a little bit, if it's just and also if it's a tiny bit of English, like let's say I'm just like chilling and I tell the producer, yo, what if we do like 3 lines of Spanish in this full English song? Like, does that sound too random? Because that's another thing, is you don't want it to be just like out of nowhere and then that's it. So yeah, that's kind of how I decide when and where and if I should add any English or Spanish into a song.
Right. No, I mean, that's why I asked, because I figured it wasn't one of these things where you're just kind of switching back and forth randomly. Like I wouldn't have made, I wouldn't personally, I've never made a song in my life, so I'm not going to act like I have any authority on that whatsoever. But just from in my head, logically, it doesn't seem like that's something. It seems like that's more something that's tactical, right? Like you're actually, you know, figuring out. I mean, Gravel's a perfect example, believe it or not, because we have a mutual friend. Shout out Mark. He hooked us up. So I've known Mark since I was, oh gosh, I mean, he must have been, I think I was 5 or 6 and he was maybe 4. That is how long I've known Mark. So we go way back. But when he sent me your stuff, when he sent me Gravel initially, actually, you know what? Can we, for the people, instead of just talking, do you mind if I play a small clip of Gravel?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's do it. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Here's a small clip of Gravel. You guys will kind of see what we're talking about right now.
Quédate aquí, mi bonita. ¿Qué es lo que tú necesitas? No te preocupes, chiquita. Yo sí te cuido. Oh, oh. No matter how many times that you break on me, I'ma be right there. From the gravel up. If the stars don't align and the clouds don't clear, I'ma be right there. From the gravel up.
So anyway, there was Gravel, guys. So make sure you go stream that song. It is out on all platforms. We're going to link it in the description for sure. If you liked it, go check it out. He's got more on the way, more on what he's got coming, Sergio, in just a few minutes. But I definitely wanted to, like I said, talk a little bit about when I first heard the song. So initially I'm listening to it and I'm like, oh, okay. Like I was listening, obviously the first verse is in Spanish. So I was like, I wonder if this whole thing's going to be in Spanish. And then when the hook hit, it's in English. And I'm like, oh, okay, I see what he's doing here. Like this makes, I like this. This makes sense, right? Okay. So, you know, I think you're doing a smart thing where you're trying to bring in a lot of, I think you're definitely going to get people from all different, not only cultures and you know, races, but I think you're going to get a lot of just different listeners from doing it that way versus maybe doing a song just in Spanish or just in English. I like the combination there. Yeah. And I even find too, where I'm like, you know, especially I don't want to keep comparing you to D Smoke because those are two very different artists, but so I hate to keep doing that. I apologize. But when he raps his verses in Spanish, oftentimes I'm like wanting to go translate and figure out what the heck he's saying. Right. So just, and then you get, it gets that deeper connection with the artist, right? Like that's, so I think it's really smart. And obviously, like you said, for you, it's just, I don't think you're doing it for anything else really but yourself, though. It sounds like something you truly want to do. So I think that's great. I really do.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, that means a lot. Appreciate it.
Oh, for sure. Going off of that, you definitely have a lot in the works, I've heard, or when we were talking about a little bit earlier. So, and you said you had a lot, you know, but even before, just in this episode, you were saying before the pandemic, you had some things going on, so that got halted. So, you know, with your solo career, like, you know, what are your next few moves in terms of music you're creating, or you know, really anything with the creative process for you? Because obviously it's probably different for you now to be a solo artist than it was, you know, to be in a boy band.
It really is. And to be honest with you, I'm still getting used to it. Like it's been, 7-8 months now, but it's after, you know, going through such a massive part of my life with a group of people, and just to completely switch into this, it's something that I'm like still getting accustomed to, but I love it. I'm having a lot of fun. And like I said, creatively, it's giving me so much freedom. And it's cool because to be honest, I didn't really start writing until last year. So I wrote a couple songs last year, obviously more in English. And then I felt that once I started, and I don't even remember what it was, where I was like, I should write something in Spanish. But the first time I wrote a song in Spanish, it just felt more natural. And I won't say it was easier to write, but it was definitely, yeah, that's the word, more natural. It felt better. And not only when I was writing, but also when I would sing it back or when I would show people. And people tell me, a lot of people tell me that they liked, and not in the mean way, but that they like my voice more when I sing in Spanish than in English. So I was just getting all these different signs from life and whatnot of like, you should write more in Spanish. So obviously this year it's been a massive, just most of my stuff is in Spanish. I'll still write in English every now and then when I feel like it. But yeah, I have all kinds of music, man. Like I got obviously the pop reggaeton, and then I have more acoustic ballads. To be honest, I personally prefer that. But I feel like right now I have to I don't want to say I got to go with like what everyone's doing, but I do want to genuinely do that too. So I'm adding my own, I think just me being myself and making pop reggaeton music, it adds a whole different element to it, especially with how I do write in Spanish and English,
right,
in songs. So yeah, but I mean, right now I'm on this massive acoustic ballad wave, just because like that's the type of artist that, you know, truly I am. And I feel like when I'm ready, I'll shift over to fully that, or maybe I won't. I don't know. I'm freaking talking out of my butt. I'm 19. Who knows? 2 years what I'll be doing. But so yeah, I've obviously been writing a bunch, and I've talked with the team, and we want to be dropping a song every month. At least we're gonna try to be as consistent as possible, because to be honest, that is the only thing I can do right now. You can't tour, you can't go promote, and so yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm getting ready. During this week, I got to be filming a music video, and I'm gonna be doing a photo shoot as well for the cover art of the song. And that's really it. And it's cool because we get to be creative with every single song. and just fully focus on only one thing, and tell another story through that. And yeah, I'm excited for people to, I forget that nobody has heard any of these. I literally have like 24, 25 songs now that I listen to all the time, that because of how much I've listened to them, I feel like they're already out. Like, I feel like everybody knows them, but there's only 2 out right now. Like, I got a lot to go. So I'm excited for people to see a different side of me, a more personal side and more intimate. And yeah, they get to really crack open the Sergio Jr. and see who I really am, which is, I'm very excited for.
I love that, dude. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What's the new song? What's the next song called?
It's called Tú y Yo Sabemos. It's a lot more reggaeton, urban. I'll say it has more of a J Balvin feel, which is sick.
Okay. All right.
Massive fan of it. I think it's so sick. At least I feel super dope when I'm listening to it. I'm just like, oh. So it is, I'm pumped about that.
If you can vibe to your own stuff, that's good. That's key. That's key, right? I feel like you gotta like the music you're making, right? I mean, what's the point? I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that, but I feel like you gotta like what you're doing.
100%. It completely changes the delivery on how you even just talk about the song, when you perform it, how you perform it, the way you sing it or rap it. And on top of all that, if you genuinely like it, people are going to see that and they're going to like that as well and instantly like the song, which is cool.
Definitely. Yeah, you can definitely, I can feel your energy just from, talking about it. You sound so pumped and ready to go. Like you've had all this ready, in the works, ready to go. So Turntable Teachers exclusive, coming soon. So he new single from Sergio. Make sure you guys check that out. We'll definitely be once it drops, it'll definitely be in the playlist and our weekly updated playlist, our Night School New Music playlist. So Gravel's already in there. It's linked in the description. You already know, people. Make sure you go stream that after the episode. Obviously, we're definitely not done yet, but after the episode, definitely go check out some more Sergio. In terms of you mentioned touring quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I know that you, like I said, you've even headlined a couple of shows, like in real life, like national tours. Talk to me a little bit about like the day to day of like touring, headlining, or like what is that like? I mean, for you, and then what is it? And then of course, we can't obviously. Touring is not really a thing right now during COVID. So I guess my follow-up question would be like, what if anything do you miss about touring? So, first day to day, what is it like to be on tour, headlining a major tour? And then, what do you miss about it?
I think on top, there's so many different things of being an artist. Obviously you have the recording, the writing, the promo, fan events, the festivals, and the touring. The headline tour, for me, that is my favorite thing because obviously I love every aspect, but if I were to choose one thing, it'd be performing on stage every single night, just because like there's no better feeling than getting out on a stage in front of a bunch of people that support you. And I feel like that hits so different because for the first year of being a band within real life, we were doing obviously a bunch of music festivals, like radio shows, and in front of massive crowds, and it was so sick. Don't get me wrong, where I was like, oh my gosh. But when we did our headline tour, nothing compared to as big as the summer shows were when we were doing the radio stuff. But it was just a completely different feeling because that every single one of these people that came out tonight bought a ticket to see you. And it's just so sick. And it's a really rewarding feeling because all of the writing and recording and promotion and everything we do, rehearsing, leads to that moment, to me personally, at the end of the day, because like that is the fan to artist connection. They go to the show, you're performing the songs live. I miss just like, geez, I think just being on stage every single night, that's the one thing that I do miss. And it's honestly super fun. A lot of people, well, depends. If you're doing promo while being on tour, that's obviously a little harder because promo is normally early morning. But we didn't do too much. It's cool though. A normal day to day would be like, your day won't get started, at least for us. Our day wouldn't get started until like 3 p.m. Okay. That would be when we'd go into the venue and first thing we would do is sound check. So we'd go do sound check. I would obviously, I'd wake up at like 10 or whatever, because no alarm. I wake up mad early anyway. Wake up at 10, chill, go shower, whatever city we're at. I literally would go on my maps and just find the closest like cool diner, walk around with the guys, and then go to sound check at like 3 or 4, and then chill, get ready for meet and greet, which would be like an hour or two after that. And that's when we get to meet the fans and kick it with them, take photos and whatnot. And then after that, you chill for a tiny bit. If there's an openers would go on. If not, then we start. And then go on stage, do the show, amazing, get off, shower, chill, everyone go back to the bus or hotel. And then normally what we would do is we would find some sort of, again, dinner spot in the area. Normally it was Denny's, because Denny's is all over the place. It's not that expensive and it's hella good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like it, but and yeah, man, literally that was it, bro. That was it. But even though it was just the same routine every single day, and it was in the same bus, and we were doing the same show, every single day was so different. But I feel like it's because we were just all in a bus that we were forced to just like, oh, okay, what should we do today? Or let's go explore this city today, if we could. Sometimes we couldn't.
Right.
You know, and that's kind of how tour is. And obviously, like I said, if there's promo, that would be happening in the morning. So,
Sure.
Yeah, tour is super fun, bro.
Yeah, no, it sounds like, everyone I talk to, it's like you don't, M. Dot, he's a Boston artist that we had on a couple, about a month or so ago. He talked a little bit about the same thing. And he was just like, it's you almost like you almost can't enjoy it because it's such a like next thing, like there's such a routine with it, right? There's like this regimen that goes with being on tour. It's, and then once you're in a city, it's, he was even kind of saying, it's like you just said, it's hard to, explore each city that you get to, and you really probably want to, right? I mean, there's probably a part of you that obviously wants to see the cities you're in and explore them a little bit. But what was one of your favorite cities, or like your favorite city that you went to on tour? Maybe like the place that had the best show, best love, or like you just enjoyed the city the most. You don't have to say Boston. It's okay.
Boston.
You don't have to.
That's funny. Geez. Let's see. Well, honestly, I mean, it's gonna be biased, but low key, the Bay Area show that we had on our last tour, just because that was actually the only headline show that we'd ever done in the couple of years that we were together in the Bay. And so going to a new place and not like, and going into a place for the first time, and then just seeing the support you have there is the sickest feeling, like amazing. And also honestly, the Philippines, we went to, we did a tour in the Philippines, and that was just same thing. We were in the other side of the world, bro. And it's just like, there are all these people just like, I remember posting a story. I'm like, I can't believe there's people yelling our name on the other side of the world. And it was just so sick. We did 7 shows there at the malls that they had, and they were just packed, and each show would just be bigger and bigger. And it was just so dope, bro. Like, so I think in terms of like actual place, probably Philippines, but I also really, really enjoy, well, I can't choose one. It's like between like LA, Chicago, New York, in terms of like great shows. Mm-hmm. And then a area that I really like is like San Antonio, at least where we performed. I don't know, I'm not good with like cities and stuff, but like the area where the venue was at was just so sick, and I loved it. So yeah, those are some of the few places that I really, really liked on tour.
Yeah, Texas, specifically Austin, I've heard. I haven't been down there yet, but I've heard Austin, San Antonio, some of those areas have really great indie underground venues, and also just like music scenes in general that I'm like actually interested to check out.
Yeah,
but
they're awesome.
Yeah. I've only been to Dallas in Texas, so I mean, it's such a big state. There's so much to see, and same with California. Like I was telling you a little earlier, the only place I'd really seen is more northern and central California. I haven't been quite down to to LA or anything like that at this point. But
exactly what you see in pictures: sun and palm trees.
You got it, man, for sure. No, and it's probably like you said, it's being so young and doing this at such a young age. I think it's a great thing for you to be able to travel the country and almost really the world at that age, just to see that much in such a short amount of time, but also at such a young age, to have that experience and exposure to new places, I think is also, it's great. But I just like your attitude about the whole thing, because, you know, it seems like it's something that was grounding for you, and that you seem very humble about the whole thing. You know, like, you're just like almost taken aback. Like, I can't believe these people in the Philippines are screaming my name, which is like, I can't imagine that either, because it's never happened to me personally. So it's like, it's one of those things where, you know, things like that could easily get to your head and, you know, and knock you off your course, so to speak. But it sounds to me like it was just these experiences that you cherish, you know? So that's really cool. I love that.
No, I mean, but I'm gonna be honest with you. There were definitely times, because I was so young, where I was like, I never let it get to my head, but I was like, this is hella sick, whatever. But
Yeah, of course. You got to take it in, man. It's great.
Which is normal. I feel like if an artist doesn't go through that, like, if they ever say that, they're honest as BS, bro. Being sorry.
Yeah, of course.
We've met so many people. It's the same. But that's not just like we think about it or whatever. But it's good to have those like reality checks when you know, going back home, or like even something as simple as like calling my mom and she's just making dinner with the fam, like stuff like that. So I think if someone has a good, like, grounded, how would I say it? Not like family
Support system.
Yeah. You know, it would be cool. So yeah, that definitely helped a lot, is having a great supportive family and friends back at home. And also I think just the fact that I would literally do a show, and it's like, all right, wait, I gotta do homework right before, like, literally crazy. And I remember another guy in the band, Brady, same thing. He was doing Spanish homework literally like 10 minutes before we had to go on stage.
Oh, come on. You weren't just helping him out with Spanish homework?
I was. But it's just like, I was like, dang, like, and so those were also good reality checks. So
Sure.
Obviously I'm getting a little older, and I'm starting to see it more of the business side of things.
Yeah.
But so I've matured a lot, to be honest. At least I think so, mentally and personally. So yeah, I'm just excited to just get back out there and start doing everything once again.
I applaud your teachers for holding you accountable and making you do that schoolwork, bro.
Yeah, as much as it sucked, but it was cool. It is what it is.
No, hey, like I said, coming from a teacher's perspective, very, very glad that your teachers did that to you. Now, it's, you know, like obviously, you know, your trajectory is much, not exactly academic, but, you know, there's still, I'm still, like you said, I think there's part of you that's probably grateful for those reality checks. So it's constantly like, oh, okay, you know, there's, you know, this is a new world to me, but at least, you know, there's some things, like I said, that grounded you a bit, and I can just.
Teachers definitely helped out so much, because I was very lucky to go to a really good school, and I literally am homies with them. Like, I talk to them to this day. Like, I have a couple still talk to, and they help me out, especially like my choral director. I'll always send her new music, and
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
my theology teacher during high school, still talk to her a bunch. Everyone, man. So it's really cool. I've been very blessed to be around just good people that genuinely care about me. Like, put music and school and literally everything aside, me as a person, I'm very lucky to have their support.
That's awesome. And I'm glad that you still have, you know, teachers that still check up on you, and you guys still have a relationship with them. Like, you know, teachers will be your best cheerleaders, especially if you're able to stay in touch with a few. Like, I got some of my old students that I still stay in touch with, and, you know, I applaud them with everything they do. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what it is. And it's like, you know, that's our job really at the end of the day, is to get you guys in a place to be successful and happy, right, with your life. So whatever that is, you know, and chase your dreams, pursue your dreams. I'm glad you had people there that were like, no, like, go pursue this, go do this, right? Like, it's so important that you had that. And instead of people like, no, you have to finish school before you go do this. It's like, you were able to still balance it. You figured it out. Look at you now. You know what I mean? And, you know, you still got a ways to go, as we all do in life, but like, those building blocks were there, and that's so important, right? You had those people that were, you know, helping you along the way. That's so huge to have, you know. So love it. One more last question. Just circling back before my final question, my favorite question I like to ask every artist who comes on this show. But I'm curious what the transition has been for you from being in a band to now being a solo artist. Like, what have been some of the potential hurdles you've had in that transition, or you know, just talk to me a little bit about how that's gone for you to this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's, to be honest, it helped me a lot personally. Like, forget the music stuff. It really put me, obviously, because now I'm a solo artist, in a position where I have to really work on myself. And also with actually finally writing my own music, it was making me aware of things that I had to get better on personally, mentally, with relationships with everybody. And yeah, it's also really made me mature a lot because, like I said, I've had to, now I'm the one that's not in charge, but yeah, I'll just say that, of everything from like when it comes to business and creative and on stage and whatnot. You know, I have to always be on top of my stuff. Like, I feel like obviously I have my team that helps me out a lot, but you know, it happens to all of us. Maybe sometimes they forget something. I have to be the one that's like, did we do this? Or even right now, even since I'm an upcoming artist, I'll be, you know, reaching out to people and whatnot too. So it's really helped me mature a lot and learn so much more about myself, which I'm very thankful for. I feel like I definitely needed that. And, you know, I'm a massive believer of, you know, God has a plan for all of us. And right now, this is definitely what I needed, because with whatever else that was going on in my life, I think that this was the one thing that I had to really hone in on. And like I said, the pandemic also helped a lot, to be honest.
Sure.
To just become a better version of myself, an enhanced version, I'll say. And you know, and like I said before, I'm not saying that because of this now I'm chilling, I'm set for life. Not at all. But I know that for now and until that next obstacle comes, you know, I kind of have a good way of handling things. And yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
Well, man, thank you so much for everything you said today. Cause like, I think that, you know, being as young as you still are, and, you know, you are very mature. I can hear it. Like this whole episode, people that are our audience that, you know, are just coming on to you for the first time I'm sure you guys can tell that right away. Just hearing you speak, and the eloquence and really just, like I said, the maturity. And, you know, I really obviously appreciate that a ton. And I think that, you know, yeah, like you said, it's acknowledging that, you know, I've done all these things, or, you know, I've made, you know, hit these benchmarks, or I've you know, accomplished these things, but, you know, not quite being satisfied with that. Keep going. I think that you know, I think it's a good thing for any kids that are in high school or even younger right now to realize, you know, if, you know, you can go chase your dream. It's okay. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't. And if they are telling you can't, you need to find people that are going to lift you up and tell you that you can. And really, you know, I think that's the most important piece here, regardless of what it is, whether you want to be a vocalist or an artist, or, you know, you want to be an athlete, what athlete or scientist, whatever you want to do with your life. I think that no matter what age you're at either, just go pursue it, work towards it, figure out what your goals are, and hit them. And I think that for you, you know, I think you got a bright future, Sergio. You're doing a lot of great things. You've done a lot of great things that a lot of people only hope to accomplish in their life, and especially as an artist. And I applaud you for sure. And I applaud your vision to keep going and wanting to improve. So keep up the great work you're doing.
He's speaking facts. Chase your dreams. Let's get it.
Chase those dreams, people. Seriously, it's cliche. I know people say it all the time, right? But
so true, though.
It's true. Hey, look at me. I'm still chasing mine, bro. You know what I mean? I'm teaching and coaching by day, but you know what? This podcast is, you know, it's a dream for me, and that's what I'm not going to stop. Just do it. You know, you are your own worst enemy a lot of the time. Not you specifically, just whoever's.
Yeah, I agree.
You are your own worst enemy, right? Like if you are allowing people to get in your head that you can't do things and you can't accomplish things, then you won't, right? But if you, regardless of what people say, just continue to do you and really work towards whatever you want to accomplish in life. And I think that's really an important goal, really message here. And you've certainly given that to us. So I want to thank you so much for that. Really right on brand with what we're trying to do over here.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks for having me, bro.
Oh, of course, man. You were fantastic, but you're not done quite yet. My last question. No, one last question. My favorite one, usually artists' favorite one too, that I ask after, we get I hit them with the tough questions, and then this is a fun one. This is one of the easier ones of the day. So you've gotten through the tough part.
All right.
But here's your bonus question. That's to keep it on brand with the school. So I call this the dream song scenario, and I'll break it down for you. Okay. So you can make a song with anybody, any artist, producer, dead or alive. Okay. Dream song. I'll structure it for you. So you get a producer. You can pick a couple of producers if you want. If you want certain producers, if you want a certain melody from one producer, or a different a drum progression from another, whatever it is, right? So you get a producer or a couple of producers, and then you get 3 guest artists. You get somebody to do the hook, all right, and you get 2 guest verses, and you get a verse, all right? So once again, dream song scenario, dead or alive, can be anybody you want on this song, all right? Producer, someone to do the hook, 2 guest features for verses. Who's on that song? Go.
All right. For producer, I feel like it just makes sense right now to have his name is Tiny. He's a Latin producer. He's made almost all the hits that you've heard on any Latin radio for the past couple years. So he'd produce it. It'd be so sick to have J Balvin for sure as one of them. Okay. And you said 2 more people, right?
Yep. So you get a hook, and then you get another verse. Unless you want Jay to do the hook, it's up to you.
Nah. I'll have J Balvin to do it, and then I'll also have Rosalia's kind of crazy. She's kind of crazy.
Rosalia is fantastic, bro.
Yeah, I'll have her join as well, and then man. And to be honest, dude, Justin Bieber. That'd be a crazy track.
That would be a crazy track. That would be you got a lot of good parts there. I feel like
I was trying to think of because I didn't want to just do one genre of people,
Sure.
So that would be a sick track to have me, J Balvin, Rosalia, Justin, and have Tiny produce that. That's a hit, my guy.
It is. There it is. The dreams. Like I said, I'm glad. Yeah, picked a bunch of different people from different genres. It's great. Yeah, it's the dream song scenario. People get on here, they're like, this mishmash, I don't know how it would sound. Who cares? It's the dream song scenario. It can sound however you want. I love it, man. Fantastic. Well, I would totally listen to that song. I think that would be a smash. Totally would be. Sergio Jr. featuring Rosalia, J Balvin, Justin Bieber, produced by Tiny. I think, maybe we'll put it out in the world. Hopefully we'll get it someday. I love it. Sergio Jr., thank you so much for being here. This has been an amazing episode, another awesome one. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, check me out my IG is just Sergio Calderon Jr., my name, first and last. But you just look up Sergio Jr. on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Twitter, whatever, I'll come up there as well.
Dope. We will definitely link Sergio's Instagram and also the new single Gravel that you guys heard about middle of this episode. We'll link that in the description here. And once again, if you're a fan of Sergio and you're just coming on us for the first time, follow us at Turntable Teachers. Head to our website. You heard the man, do it. Head to our website as well, www.turntableteachers.com. We got a bunch of blogs up there, merch, a bunch of episodes, the whole 9. And then people that are obviously fans of us, you already know what's good. And make sure you go follow Sergio and keep up with everything he's got coming out soon. He's got 25 songs in the bank ready to go. So we got plenty probably coming from him very soon. And we'll be pushing you on all of our playlists and whatnot and things like that. So I'm excited for your future, Sergio, once again, and stay in touch. And once again, it's been so great having you on here. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you having me.
I'm Mike, Sergio Jr. with the Turntable Teachers, and class is officially dismissed.
Turn.